September 5th, Goose Pond Road south to Webster Road. Overnight backpack trip near Webster Road. This is our second backpacking adventure. We started our hike at Goose Pond Road, heading south on the AT. We entered the trail from the road through some brush and into the hardwoods area, where some part of the trail was overgrown with tall grass. Then we entered a hemlock forest and looked for a spot to set up camp. We found an area in the pine with some tall pine trees and a nice clear spot. We marked a spot from the trail with some tree branches so that we could find our campsite. Dave was cutting up his fingers breaking branches. I was making a pile of leaves to mark the spot. We continued on the trail with only Dave's backpack to carry our lunch and water. The trail was getting more scenic, passing through more hemlock forest and a big rock formation. We reached a painted sign for Knee Deep Pond. We reached the pond and found a skull and crossbones painted on another sign behind the pond. This area was eerie because it was a cloudy day, so everything looked dark in the woods. Some group had put up the Skull and Bones sign, not the AT. The letters painted on the sign read PANC. We passed a black water brook that smelled before coming out onto Webster Road. We returned back to our campsite and we filtered some water at a spring on the way. This was a nice spring with good water flow, and we were able to filter the water with no problem with the new filter. We had a small campfire and cooked some tuna casserole on the Sterno stove. We had a great camping experience here and watched it get dark, but we saw no stars out due to the clouds. We heard an owl very close by. This was our best owl experience that we had ever had because it was so close and so distinct. Wow. September 6th, Goose Pond Road north to Goose Pond Cabin. I had slept off and on during the night. I had got up at around 3 to pee, the fourth time that night, and the moon had come out and was shining on the pine-covered ground. The stars were very bright, and there was a light breeze, but most of the night was calm, still, and quiet. Dave thought that he had heard a coyote during the night, but in the distance. I heard the owl a few more times before morning. We woke up to a cool, sunny morning, and you could see your breath. The sunlight was hitting the forest in different places on the forest floor, and Dave was restarting the fire. We went down to the water to refilter water for breakfast and for our hike. I had discovered something very important about breakfast. Never bring quinoa. It tastes like grass and hay. We took down our camp and left it the way we found it. Leave no trace behind. We hiked back to Goose Pond Road. We left my pack in the car and Dave removed the camping gear and put it in the car, and he carried only our lunch and water with his backpack. Trail Angels had left a cooler of soda for through hikers near the road. We headed north on the trail toward Goose Pond Cabin. The day was beautiful and cool, around 70 degrees with low humidity. This part of the trail seems long because we were tired from yesterday's hike and camping out. It was beautiful in the hemlock forest with lots of rocks and bridges, very scenic. We reached Goose Pond and saw a lot of boats in the pond. We heard a strange noise as we walked around the pond that sounded like a baby bird, but we discovered that it was a chipmunk. We never knew that it made that kind of sound. We arrived at the cabin and met the caretaker. I loved the cabin. It was big with a large old fireplace. It had a nice wood floor and a cute camp-style kitchen. We talked about maybe volunteering to caretaking here for a week. We ate our lunch on the same tent platform that we had ate at around 4 months ago. After refilling our water and taping up my blisters, we headed back to the car. We had heard an owl around Ford. It was nice to hear him or her again. We saw a blue flower that I had never seen before. I will need to look it up in the nature book when I get home.